back to another episode of Pick Fiends. As you can see, it is your boy Richie Bentz joining us. I mean, you're basically just full time at this point. You're here every episode. So you see Richie, you can automatically assume we're doing NFL picks. This is episode 18. We're gonna jump right into it with before we jump right into it, we have a little change today, a little mashup. Got a couple, maybe a couple. I don't know. One of these guys ghosted me now last minute, but had some people interested and want to make some picks on here. So I said, bring them to the table. Bring them to the table. We'll sit them down. We'll see what they got. Right, Rich? You've been doing this for a long time now, right?
It's always good to have some new blood in the game,
Yep, yeah, freshen things up. It's a lot of NFC East drama. So I'm an Eagles fan, obviously. You're a Giants fan. One of them's a Cowboys fan. The other one's an Eagles fan. A lot of contentious episodes in the near future, I would predict. But anyway, let's jump into it. Give me your Power 5, Richie. Let's recap last week quick. So quickly, I'll run through it. It was Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Vikings, Giants, right?
Correct, yes.
All right, so obviously, if you were keeping track of wins lost last week, the Bills were on a bye. The Chiefs beat the Niners. The Eagles were on a bye. The Vikings beat the Jaguars. I don't think that's right, but it could be true. I don't know. Sounds right. And the Giants, who'd they play?
The Giants played the Jags.
Oh, yeah. So then I don't know who the Vikings beat, but they won.
The Vikings were on a bye.
Were they on a bye? I know the Bills and Eagles were, but I wasn't sure the Vikings were. I thought they beat someone. But anyway, regardless of the fact, not a whole lot has changed in that sense. We did have some shocking scores. Obviously the Bears blew out the Patriots in Foxborough on Monday Night Football in prime time. Carolina Panthers came up big after being the biggest, basically, sellers out there on the market. Dealing CMC, which is a whole nother thing. We could even jump to another topic, which we might dive into a little bit. We'll see how we do on time. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey got moved with the trade deadline coming up in the Carolina Panthers. Obviously going downhill to a rebuild. Although, big upset over Tom Brady. Didn't let him score a touchdown the whole day, I don't think. So big drama. Obviously, at the time of recording, there was one other big trade involving one of your power rankings top 5 teams here, the Philadelphia Eagles. My Philadelphia Eagles sent a 4th round pick to Chicago for Robert Quinn, defensive end, 18.5 sacks last year, all pro.
He's dog meat.
We'll say what you want. Now the thing is, instead of doing it on his own, now he's playing next to Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargraves, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick. It's gonna be tough to block all those guys, but let's get into your Power 5 here. Enough dilly dally. Yeah. Go ahead and let's like we talked about. Start from the bottom, like Drake said. Start from the bottom.
I'll start from the bottom. All right. At number 5, I'm gonna go with the Giants. They are 6-1. They are flying, buddy. Yeah, a good win last week. I feel like they're always at the end of the games and they clutch up. It's that fourth quarter and they're just like, all right, now we're ready to play. They always keep it close, which I don't really love to see, but hey, a win's a win. So they're 6-1.
I'll dive into them later.
Leave that or we're gonna put them at 5, and then at number 4, the Vikings. I mean, they're up there. They're 5-1. They have a great offense, and I love their backfield with of course Madison and Cook. So I like them at 4. Also, they have
Time out. They were on a bye. Dalvin Cook's on my fantasy team. Resume play.
Yes, Dalvin Cook is a dog, and I also like Madison too. That's a good 1-2 punch right there.
What about Jefferson? What about Jefferson?
Yeah, I'll hit it right now.
What about Big Christian Kirk? Well, not Christian Kirk. That's a terrible example. I meant Kirk Cousins, but I was trying to make a joke. But there is a guy named Christian Kirk actually in the league. So whatever. Yeah. But you see how ice he's wearing? You see that drip he got going on? That's crazy.
Yeah. He's a dog. He's a dog. But I also like Adam Thielen there too. Don't ever forget about him. He's a touchdown machine. Okay. So
fair. I won't forget.
I'm gonna leave them at 4.
Mark it down.
Write down the book, buddy. Write down the book. At number 3, gotta say, but the Eagles, they are undefeated right now. With after a bye week, I mean, that bye week's gonna make them way better and acquiring Quinn. So I'm gonna leave them at 3 with the offense being electric. Okay. And number 2, 1 and 2 is basically gonna be the same probably for the whole entire year for me, just because they're the 2 best offenses in the league, and they have the 2 best quarterbacks in the league. Number 2, I'm gonna put the Chiefs there with Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the league. Okay. And honestly, some of the weapons are Juju's starting to show up a little bit. I think his name's Pacheco, number 10 from Rutgers. Is that his name? Yeah, he's
Pacheco? I think
is
its
that
name's I thought it was Bucher or something like that.
no,
Is it
I
tight
think
end?
no, I'm talking about
Um,
the number 10. He's the running back from Rutgers. He's a beast. He runs real hard. I like him a lot. So yeah, leave them at 2. And then number 1, I'm gonna put the Bills. The Bills are just they're Super Bowl favorite,
the
playing
Mafia.
playing outstanding. The fans are there, they're in it, It's kind of like the Phillies on how they had the home field advantage being, undefeated. But yeah,
Speaking of the Phillies, Richie,
ooh,
I believe I have a little receipt on you.
ooh, Betty. I'm just honestly, I want to see them win. Like, I just,
Oh, so
I
you're
just
on the
I can't.
bandwagon now. You're on the bandwagon.
No, I just hate Philly. I'm not a big fan of Philly sports. Like, I don't like to hate the Sixers, hate the Eagles, but
What the Sixers do to you?
I don't know, I just don't like them. I don't know.
What Joel Embiid ever do to you? He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I just don't root for those 2. I'm gonna root for the Phillies just because we know we're close to them. So yeah, go
Nobody
Phil.
wants to see the Astros win. They're cheaters.
Nah, they win too much.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good series though. Series final though, 4-3. What do you think, Phillies?
I got it 4-0 Phillies, but anyway, you could right now you could get the Phillies on FanDuel plus 165 to win the World Series. Plus money.
That's
You know
it.
what's gonna happen. I'm telling you it's gonna happen. I'm giving away free money here.
Wait till they go down. Wait till they go down 0-1 or 0-2. Then you bet them. But anyway,
Buddy, we're in the kill formation right now. Aaron
yeah.
Nola is going down enemy territory and setting a tone. He's setting a tone, and then guess what? What happens when they come back with Wheeler game 2 and not drop that key second game?
All right, let's not get off track here. I have the Bills at
I'm
number
not getting off
1.
track. I'm talking about winners, and that's all I talk about.
Yeah, Bills at number 1 now. Overall, they have the top 5 defense, and Josh Allen's at quarterback with Diggs and Knox and Singletary.
Singletary.
They got
He
James Cook
stinks.
back
He's
there.
painfully average.
You know, he's not bad, but yeah,
Imagine if they would have traded for CMC.
they would have been too stacked. I mean,
Well, they don't run the ball anyway. That'd be the perfect scenario to have him as a running back. You only run the ball 10 times a game with your running
yeah,
back. Fucking get him out there in the slot, throw him some passes.
yeah. They
Obviously can't happen. He's on the 49ers now, but
yeah, but
which
all right.
dream scenario for 49ers fans, because you that's everything they wanted Debo to be, right? The running back wide receiver combination.
I feel like I don't know. I think it's a good team for him to go to. I thought there's other teams they could have went to too that would have made their team a lot better.
All right, so give me the quick recap. 5-1. Go ahead, name them.
5-1. All right. Actually, all right. We'll do 5-1.
5-1.
Giants number 5, cooking baby. Go Giants. Number 4, Vikings. 3, Eagles. 2, Chiefs. And number 1, Bills, baby.
All right. You heard it here from the man himself, the man with all the power rankings in the NFL. He got me. We're gonna roll in our picks here for the week. Hopefully our 2 guests are joining us here. We'll see what happens. All right, we're back, and if you can't tell, we are obviously joined by more than just me and Richie as normal on our NFL picks. What week is this, Dolan? I know you're a freak with that shit.
This is week 8.
Week 8. Sure. That's what I thought. I don't have a list of who's on bye. I should probably. I know there are some teams on bye. So we're gonna pick our same kind of slate here, 7 games. I think that's a good little area, good number to pick. Obviously, we're all gonna have bets, so the slate is gonna be a little smaller for regular games. I've given these guys permission, absolutely, to pick. I know Richie picks every game, so they might overlap, pick some best bets, on the same game. Doesn't matter. Quick little introduction. We'll go around the table here. Obviously, we have Richie Benz. He was in the last segment here. He gave his Power 5 For Smitty or Dawn, somebody that may not be seeing the Power 5 till it comes out, his Power 5 from 5-1 was the Giants, Vikings, Eagles, Chiefs, Bills. Is actually the same as it was last week, didn't move at all. You have to tune in if you want to hear his analysis on that, how he came to that conclusion. But we're going to roll into our games here, and I have to make sure I'm careful to avoid best bets. Our first game we are picking, let me pull up the line and everything here. We have the Chicago Bears fresh off their big Monday Night Football victory over the Patriots in Foxborough. They are at the Dallas Cowboys. Is that correct, Dawn? Is it in Dallas?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in Dallas.
Pretty sure it's in Dallas. The Bears are getting 9.5 points, minus 105. They are plus 360 on the money line. The over-under is 42.5 for minus 110. I'm going to go ahead and throw out what I got on this game here. I got to ride with my Bears. The Cowboys are a good team. They've obviously got better here at the trade deadline. We're going to get into a little more of that later. They brought in who? It was Sheldon Rankins. Was that?
Jonathan Hankins.
Who?
Jonathan Hankins.
Jonathan Hankins. Same kind of name, same position, I think. So
just a big space.
Yep. Big run stopper. Good move. That's what I think they probably felt they needed. So, good move. But the thing is, Richie definitely knows how I feel. Anybody that watches this show knows how I feel. Too many points. You can't give these football teams. And it's not a biased pick. It's not a biased pick at all because we'll get into too many points later when we talk about the Eagles-Steelers game. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears plus 9.5. Just maybe hope that same energy is there and hope they cover. What do you got in this game, Richie?
Yeah, give me the Bears here too. 9.5 is too many points. They just pretty much shut out New England. Their defense played lights out. And yeah, Justin Fields looks better than he.
They added that third element of Fields, being able to create offense on his own, to their offense, which was obviously not expected by the Patriots. What do you got, Dawn?
See, I'm gonna take the Cowboys, and I only think they're gonna win by 10. That's the crazy part too.
That's fair enough.
I think the Bears obviously got worse getting rid of Robert Quinn, and I think the offense is going to pick up a little bit for Dallas. Just Dak, I think, only threw one incompletion in the second half of last week's game. Obviously, the first half was ugly, a little bit of rust, but I think
you'll have that.
With that, get it rolling. I think that Bears offense is going to have a real hard time. So I think it's going to be hard for them to score some points. So we'll see.
And that's from our resident Cowboys fan here. So what do you got, Smitty? Go ahead, take us home on this game.
All right, I got the Bears with the points too. Like you guys are saying, it's too many. But, I mean, if you looked at what Dallas did last week, they barely beat the Lions, who I believe were ranked last in defense in the league. And they got 26 on them. But there was a lucky pick. There was a tip ball, I believe. And then from what I was hearing and reading and stuff, that Trayvon Diggs' interception shouldn't have counted, that it hit the ground anyway. So there's two picks that went in their favor. They were in Dallas territory, right?
The Diggs one was, he kind of just threw that up. He was on his side of the 50, but it was kind of like a punt. That acted as a punt, really.
All right. And then, so yeah, I don't think Dallas offense is there. And then, as you guys were saying, the Bears look good, and they added that extra element of Justin Fields. They really getting him out of the pocket, letting him create space and make bigger plays on his own rather than being a pocket passer. He got to use those legs, and he's dangerous outside.
All right, so Dolan, I'll give you a 30-second chance to rebuttal that statement about the Cowboys offense, but I just want to give you my 2 cents. So, we can't just, say biased Eagles, blah, blah, blah. My 2 cents is that a win's a win, obviously. But I don't, necessarily care about how many points you win by. A win is a win. And I think that was a good I think there was a lot of good things that came for the Cowboys. So, take it as take it in stride.
No, I don't think I think what he's saying, barely beat the Lions, was 24-6. That game probably should have won that game by a lot more. Only reason why we didn't was because we shot ourselves in the foot. But
and I'll add
one thing Smitty said about with Justin Fields though that kind of worries me about the game is when they when teams have a mobile quarterback, it makes it easier for them to attack Micah, and that when you take out our biggest weapon on defense, it kind of neutralizes it a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yep.
I know what
That's
you
fair
said.
self-criticism. What,
Let
Smitty?
me add something. Also in that game, they got saved by the Lions running back fumbling on the 1 yard line, or else it would have been a closer game.
Vice versa. They caused that fumble. They got that fumble, you know.
I don't
Big
know.
play, but for your defense. But we got to move on here.
Honestly, that wouldn't have happened if Campbell would have challenged the play. Hawkinson was actually in on that touchdown when Micah tackled.
Yeah,
so
see?
that's a coaching decision.
See?
Bad coaching. Bad coaching. But we got to move on to good coaching here. And the same story of too many points. The Pittsburgh Steelers are coming to Philadelphia. They are getting 10.5 points for -105. The money line is +410 for the Steelers. The over/under is 43.5 -110. Go ahead, Smitty. Start us off. What do you have here?
See, I don't really like betting anything on the Eagles because that's my team. I don't like risking. I do think it's a lot of points. However, I think the Eagles can beat them by that much. But if I had to pick my safe bet, I would just go Eagles money line. I think we're going to win the game, but I wouldn't touch the points. That's a lot of points.
That's a big money line, -550. Not making much money there. You gotta. Hey, it is what it is. Hey, I certainly don't mean to big time you here because I'm a terrible gambler 90% of the time. But going forward, you ever see something like that you want to pick a team and you don't want to pick their money line? Click on them. Look at their team total and see if you like their points. Go ahead. I accept that. I will accept that as a substitution for just so that's on the air live. I will accept team total points as a substitution for money line picks. But go ahead, Dalton. Let's flip flop the fandom here. Tell me what you have.
I'll take Steelers with the points. That's a lot of points. I think they'll be able to cover that. I do think the Eagles obviously still win that game. I don't think the Steelers have enough to beat them, but I do like I like their defense. I feel like they'll be able to have a good game plan going against Jalen Hurts. I just think eventually they'll, turn it up maybe second half.
All right, really that's very fair. Richie, go ahead and give me your opinion before I have to give you the cheat code on how to bet this game.
Yeah, probably gonna stay away from this game overall. I think it is a lot of points, but I think the big thing here is Philly off a bye week. They're already looking at Pittsburgh, week before. So I think the bye week's huge here. I actually think Philly can cover the 10.5, honestly.
That's another fair assessment. This game is very up in the air, but let me tell you what the cheat code is this game. I hate trend betting, but anybody that follows trend betting knows that unders were amazing to start the season. This is a game where they're just giving both these teams too many points. The Eagles coming back off a bye aren't going to be explosive and flashy like you might assume. They're going to just run the ball. And credit to the Steelers, they have a good up front, so they're probably going to, it's going to be tough. Low scoring game. I don't see the Steelers proving much offense. I think Philadelphia wins like 21-9, I think this is just an under game.
What's the over under?
43.5. Under.
I think the Eagles could come out, and if they're feeling good and we get some turnovers on defense, I could feel an over for that one.
That's just a number where you need two teams with competent offenses, and I don't know how much I trust this Steelers offense. Although, right hand up to God, Kenny Pickett stand. So that's just where I stand on it. We're gonna move on here. Our last, regular contention game is the a little NFC West rivals. The reigning Super Bowl champions, Los Angeles Rams, are hosting the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams are the dog in this game, believe it or not, at home. Obviously, there's that whole, Shanahan, Owens, McVay thing that might be influencing this a little bit. The Rams are getting 1.5 points at home, -112, plus 100 on the money line. The over-under is 42.5. Start us off, Richie.
Yeah, I actually already bet this game earlier in the week. I got the over and under. I bet the over and under was actually 41. I was like, wow, that's gonna go. I think it's gonna go over just because of the Rams off the bye week, and then the 49ers got McCaffrey. Yeah, look, I'm looking at the Rams to win this game actually too. The Rams and the over here.
So I have right now money line for 49ers to win is -118.
Rams. It's a Ram spot.
Rams at plus 100.
it's a Ram spot, and it's an over game for sure. I got over.
Fair enough. What about you, Smitty? What do you got here?
I actually would take the 49ers with the minus points. I think the 49ers are
Minus
gonna,
1.5.
yeah, I think the 49ers are going to beat up on the Rams. The Rams have not shown any sign of life this whole season. I don't think they looked good in any game.
Now, when you say beat up on them, does that entail a little run CMC out there, a little McCaffrey action?
Well, yeah, they're going to throw everything at them. The Rams, their defense is lacking, and they can't really get much going on offense. Isn't Stafford like the second most sacked quarterback in the league?
Yeah, their offensive line is terrible. And like I said, there you could probably find a big funny stat out there for Mike Shanahan versus Sean McVay.
And is Bosa in? Is Bosa in?
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure about that one. I think he is, but
I think they said he was playing. So that's not going to look good for Stafford if Bosa's in.
All I got to say is KC put up 44 against them last week and the week before that.
That defense is penetrable. That's where I'm at. I'm on the over too. I'm at 42.5. I'll take it. I'll take it up to like honestly 45 because I think this is a game where the 49ers win, but it's a hedge bet on myself. I'm hedging myself. I'm fading myself. If I just looked at this game on paper, I'd be like, oh, under. But when I dive a little deeper into it, it's probably going to go over. We'll see what happens. That's where I'm at. What do you got? What do you have up there, Dalton?
I got 49ers in the over. I think that they're just going to beat up on them offensively. I think they're too physical, the 49ers, honestly. I think they are. I don't trust that. See, I seen the Cowboys beat up on that Rams defense. It ain't that great. Debo had his best game of the year against the Rams this year, so I think we're going to see a big game out of him, especially with not all the attention on him with McCaffrey back. But, I mean, I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I just think you're going to see clearly that the 49ers are playing better football than them.
And with that being said, we're going to get into our best bets here. Obviously, it's short regulation games here that we're picking all together because we have 4 people, 4 best bets. Like I said earlier, obviously, if these guys want to bet the games that other people are betting for their best bet, that's fine. We'll just add them onto their card below, but it doesn't count for their best bet of the week. We'll clearly define which one of us, best bet games. With that being said, I'm going to start it off here. I have the New York Giants, Richie's New York G-Men, traveling to Seattle, big travel across the country, flip the coast. The Giants are getting 3 points, minus 110. I'm not even going to go any further and read into it right now because last time they got 3 points against Jacksonville, it was an easy cover game. I said this to Richie on the pod we did about with that game. Anytime you're going to give me the Giants plus points against another team of their stature or less, I'm going to take it. I'm going to ride that till the wheels come off. So that's Giants plus 3 at minus 110 for my best bet on the week. And you guys have anything on this game? You don't have to feel obligated to, but Richie, anything?
Yeah, I mean, Giants are hot, but they could get cold, I mean, the 3 I don't bet my team. I don't bet my team either, so I'm probably gonna stay away from this. But in a spread pool, I'm taking the points because I'm a Giants fan. So yeah.
Well, what's the money line for the Giants?
The money line for the Giants is plus 130.
Yeah.
I'd take that all day. I think the Giants are hot, and I don't see Seattle competing with them like that. The Giants have a good defense.
Seattle's been sneaky good.
Yeah, Gino's playing well.
He's driving the bus.
Yeah, he's playing well, but he kind of crumbles against good defenses here and there. And the Giants have a good defense. I think they could definitely go out there and win that game straight up without the points. So
that's fair too.
I would take the Giants money.
Anything on this, Dalton?
Yeah, I don't like it because I think the Giants can go out and win without the points too, but I also think the Seahawks could win this game.
Fans.
I'm staying away from that.
That's fair enough. Next, we're going to get into Richie's best bet of the week. He is picking the Patriots at Jets. The Patriots are minus 2.5 for minus 114, minus 134 on the money line. The over-under is 40.5 for minus 110. What is the best bet here, Richie?
I know you're gonna hate this, but New England minus 2.5. Give me them. They need this win more than anything. After that terrible loss to the Bears, they're 3-4. Jets are 5-2. This is a huge game for them.
They might win, buddy, but they ain't covering because the Jets are riding high right now. They are just in every game.
New England owns the Jets. They won the last, I don't know how many. I'm looking at.
I don't care about that. They apparently Bill Belichick owned Chicago too, and what they do, they came in there and crapped in Foxborough. They took a big dookie on the 50-yard line. So that's Richie's best bet. Quick little recap. Obviously, I have the Giants +3. Richie has the Patriots -2.5, and we're gonna roll to Smitty's Ryan Michael Smith, according to his according to his Zoom account here. We're gonna roll in your best bet of the week. You are picking the Sunday Night Football game between the Packers and Bills. Packers are traveling to Buffalo. The Packers are getting 10.5 points. You heard me correctly. 10.5 points.
Wow.
-105. The Packers are +400 on the money line. The over-under is 47.5 for -110. What is the answer here, Smitty?
I mean, I got the Bills with the minus points. The Packers are playing so bad. There's some controversy there because Aaron Rodgers is flipping out on everybody. He's coming out saying some guys need to get less reps because they're just not performing on the field. I mean, I don't think anybody on that team really has their heart in the game at all. And the Bills are hot. Like, they could go out there and score points at will. They put points up on anybody. They go out there. You saw what they did to the Steelers. It was like arcade mode on Madden. They were just having fun out there. They were doing whatever they wanted. And I think they'll do the same thing against the Packers. I don't think the Packers have anything that can stop them. And it should be a quick game, probably over in the first half. They'll be up 11 in the first half for sure.
Wow, that's bold predictions. Bold predictions there.
I don't know. I don't know if it will get over the 47 points though. It might be under, just because the Packers probably aren't going to score much at all because they're not getting nothing moving, and the Bills have a good defense.
Bills defense is phenomenal.
Through Von Miller, he plays like that.
Yep. I hear you. So that is Ryan Smith's best bet of the week. The Bills -10.5 for -115. Richie, what are you betting on this game? Because I know you are.
Yeah, and the spread pull him in. I'm gonna take the points here. Aaron Rodgers. It definitely looked at the spread because I know he's always on Pat's show. So I think seeing 11.5 saying like, "Hey, you guys are trash. Like we're gonna piss on you." I think if this is like a 1:00 game or a 4:25 start, I'd probably take the Bills. But just because it's prime time, and Aaron Rodgers is playing. Yeah, give me the points there. 11.5.
Anything from you, Dalton, before we move to your best bet?
I'm with Richie on that one. Same thing for me.
Fair enough. All right, we're gonna roll with Dalton's best bet. He's picking the Monday Night Football game between the reigning AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals traveling to division rival Cleveland Browns. The Browns at home are getting 3.5 points, -110, +164 on the money line. The over under is 47 for -110. What's the answer here, Dolan?
I'm taking Bengals with the minus points. I think they beat them by at least a touchdown. That offensive line's playing better. That offense is starting to roll. The Browns, is Garrett back for them yet?
I'm not sure about that. I do not think so. But just for clarification, just for clarification's sake here, are you taking the -3.5 or are you taking them to cover by whatever the line is game day? Could be 2.5, could be 2, could be 4, could be 4.5.
Oh, no, I'm taking the -3.5.
So you're deadlocked on that. That's awesome. All right, perfect. Anything else on that game before I give it to Richie? Because he's beating over there like a ferret. He's ready to go.
No, not really.
No, that's it. Go ahead, Richie. I know you're betting something on this game.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side here. Give me the Browns plus the 3.5. The line's 3 now I'm looking at, but 3.5. They're at home. I think big game for them as well. They're 2-5. This is a must-win game, especially a divisional game. So yeah, I like the 3.5.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. We'll do a quick recap from the top down. My best bet of the week is the what do I have? The Giants +3 against the Seahawks. Richie has the Patriots +2.5 against the Jets, or -2.5, right? -2.5. -2.5 against the Jets. Smitty has the Bills to cover 10.5 against the Packers, and Dolan has the Bengals to cover 3.5 against the Browns. That is our picks for the week. we'll do our best to get them out there on all social media apps. And we're probably going to dive into some trade deadline situation here coming up on November 2nd. Is that right, Dalton? November 2nd?
I think it might be the first. It's whatever. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday in November. All right. So
yeah.
first Tuesday
in November.
Yeah, first Tuesday in November. So we're gonna dive into some trade deadline news and predictions here. If you want to stick around, we'll get into that in a couple seconds here. All right. If you're still joining us here on this splendid episode 18 of Pick Fiends, I don't have to introduce him. He was already on the last segment. Dalton Mate's back. We're going to talk some trade deadline stuff. If you're a consistent follower of this program, which probably you aren't, but Dalton was in a couple original episodes, like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, something like that. And we did a lot more talking about, instead of picking, we did a lot more, talking about the NFL news side of things. And the big news right now is the trade deadline coming up. I still haven't, between episodes, Googled when the actual trade deadline is. It's the first Tuesday of November. It's either the 1st or 2nd. I should probably know that. But whatever. Let's get into it here. I already touched on the 2 big trades that have happened recently. Obviously, with that being at the time we're recording this, Robert Quinn was traded to Philadelphia, and a couple days ago, Christian McCaffrey was traded to the 49ers. A couple days before that, Robbie Anderson was traded also from the Carolina Panthers with Christian McCaffrey. He was traded out west to Arizona. Let's start this off. Let's dive into some teams that could be buyers or could be sellers here. I'll start it off. We're just talking about the Cardinals getting Robbie Anderson. A lot of people might think this is a little bit of a hedge, a little fade of myself here, but you would think after acquiring a wide receiver, why would they want to be moving a wide receiver? But that's what I'm saying here is I think the Cardinals are looking to sell. The hot rumor earlier today, through all the nerds of the NFL, the Rappaports and Schefters and Miroffs, the rumors was that the Packers were apparently looking to move a draft pick to get AJ Green from the Cardinals. So obviously that would put the Packers in the category of buyers and the Cardinals in the category of sellers. There has been talk before. Apparently, Rodgers has spoken highly of AJ Green in his time in Cincinnati and talked about him as a player. He wouldn't mind seeing come to Green Bay in the one free agency offseason whenever he went to the Cardinals. I believe it was a season ago prior to this one, the free agency before this past one. Could be wrong on that, though. So, other teams that could be buyers, I'm seeing a lot of the Titans possibly in the wide receiver market. The Cowboys, your team, are another team that could be possibly snooping around the wide receiver market. It sounds like the Rams have been looking for a running back for a long time, looking to deal Cam Akers. So that puts them in both the buyer and seller category. Who else here? Obviously, the Carolina Panthers are selling. The Bears look to be selling.
I think the Patriots are going to start. I think if they lose, especially if they lose this weekend, they're going to sell.
So interesting. I don't want to necessarily dive into too deep here yet, players, but if they were to sell, who are we looking at selling? Are you talking about
specifically a wide receiver? Just one wide receiver.
I've seen that. I've seen that the Bears, who traded for who was it, N'Keal Harry in the preseason. From the Patriots, I saw that they were possibly in talks in getting who am I talking about here, Dolan? It's not Aguilar, it's not Parker, it's not Thompson.
Is it Myers?
Yes. I think
I've seen 2 receivers so far up for the Patriots.
Who's the other one?
I heard Aguilar's getting rumored to be on the trade market, and I heard Jacoby Myers is getting rumored to be on the trade market because apparently he's been playing like a low percentage of snaps for them.
Yeah,
and honestly, Devontae Parker too. I heard he could get floated around too.
Well, that's probably a contract thing
for him.
Yeah,
even though they just traded for him, he hasn't put up as much production as they think, and they're not scared to move on from a player quickly.
Yeah, and obviously they're not keen on paying players, long term and stuff, especially at skill position, maybe besides quarterback. And even there, they've kind of proven that they don't plan on paying quarterbacks. Seems like the Broncos could be looking to move a receiver. I've heard Jerry Jeudy possibly. I've heard KJ Hamler. The Steelers, another team that could be looking to move a receiver. Chase Claypool's name has been floated around a lot out there. The Commanders, William Jackson, the third cornerback, who mainly played for the Bengals, if I'm right, most of his career. He has apparently requested a trade. He could be looking to be on the move here.
Obviously,
who else? It sounds like talking about your Patriots. You were just saying. It sounds like Isaiah Wynn could be on the market. That was one I heard today.
I heard he was on the market preseason too.
The Bucks are a team that they're obviously down, and people are counting them out right now. They're a team that could be looking to make moves either on the offensive line or in the secondary, where they're banged up at both positions. That's all that really comes to mind without doing
possible buyers.
Who's that?
Seahawks possible buyers.
Seahawks, yep, another team that could be possibly looking to buy into their season, the success they're having. Who knows? Don't count out the Giants. Maybe looking to either sell a receiver or possibly get some depth on defense or on the offensive line. Who knows? The Bengals,
and, the Jets got some drama in their wide receiver.
There is a thing we should basically say every team should be looking around. But the thing with the NFL trade deadline compared to maybe baseball or basketball is we don't see a whole lot happen at the deadline as much as we hear the rumors of stuff happening. It's not as, trigger happy, so to say, to happen. Let's dive in a little more on the player side. Who are there any possible players that you think could be going places? I touched on a little bit of the AJ Green possibility to the Packers.
I don't know exactly where he would go, but I do think this is the offseason, or not the offseason, the season that Brandon Cooks gets moved again, because they don't fit his timeline. He wanted to get traded last trade deadline. They didn't. So me
and you spoke a little bit before we started recording about this, and you said how the Cowboys could possibly be a contender for Cooks. Now let's talk about the money side of things there. Obviously, Jerry Jones, very wealthy billionaire. We know that. Are they willing to pay it? And what's their cap scenario look like? I don't know how much Cooks is on the books for.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they actually have a decent amount of cap space left.
I know they're up in the top 10 tier right now of cap space.
I don't think they're willing to take his full salary, though. That's something I don't think they would do, because I think it's definitely in the double digits. They're already paying Gallup double digits. CD's getting paid, like, obviously it was a first round pick. It's not double digits, but it's like 5-6 mil probably a year.
It sounds like Cooks, from what I've heard around the league, it sounds like he's on the books for like maybe anywhere from 14 million to 18 million, which is a lot of money, for a receiver. Now, obviously, they can work out a deal where the Texans eat a chunk of that money. The league minimum is honestly very low at like $700,000. So there are possibilities to work that out. I think there are other teams that could be in the Cooks market. The Titans have been snooping around at receivers. The Giants are in that weird scenario where they're kind of trying to move a receiver, but at the same time, they probably would be open to bringing in another one.
I think the Rams possibly could be looking to reunite with him, because I think they need a guy to stretch the field like that.
See, I kind of thought that
all slot guy. Allen Robinson's your possession guy. They don't have a guy that stretches the field really.
See, I kind of thought that for a time being, but I think there's more. I think it's more likely that we might see Odell come back, or the other possibility too is Van Jefferson was just activated off PUP or IR, whichever he was on.
There you go.
So that's another thing. That's the only reason I downplayed that a little bit, just because I read some of that news today. Obviously, Odell, he's been rumored to be anywhere from the Packers to the Giants. Who knows where he lands here. The Ravens are another team that could be snooping around at receivers. We don't know what's going on. Just some quick headlines around the league. A proposed trade has the Titans trading for Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool, something around the effect of a second rounder for next year and a possible compensation for the following year, a third rounder or a fourth rounder, depending on play and tenure. Any comments on that?
I feel like that's a little too steep. 2 picks. I would give maybe 1 mid-round pick, but not 2.
And this is, of course, I'm getting this information from our our most valued sources out there, Pro Football Focus, who we all love. We love the content they put out. We just love it all. Their next gen stats and all that bullshit. This was written by Michael Renner, I believe a day ago. So another proposed trade, a guy I already kind of spoke about, William Jackson III. They have him go into the 49ers for basically nothing, 2 7th-round picks. It's I don't know what the Niners books looks like, but it can't be that they have a lot of money getting CMC. So I don't know how that would work. I don't know if you have any comments on that. I know they did just activate a couple corners off. I know Jason Verrett and somebody else in the secondary was activated.
In that trade, I think the pick compensation's right, because I don't think William Jackson, he's getting paid a decent amount of money to not be.
He is making a decent buck, but it was he signed there like two years ago, I think. So the market has definitely grown, but he was getting a pretty penny to go there. I know.
Yeah, so I think that would be fair, decent comp trade. I can see that happening, but I don't know.
The next one I see here, I think is a little bit far fetched. It has the Packers landing Jerry Jeudy for a 2nd rounder next year and a 4th or / 5th rounder in 2023. I can see the Broncos moving a receiver here. Definitely, that's for sure. I could definitely see that happening. I could even see them moving Bradley Chubb, if things don't go well this week. They're playing the 9:30 game in London against Jacksonville, which is basically a home game for them. So I could see them looking to, rip it down a little bit and maybe build a team more structurally, to fit whatever they have going into next season. You have any comment on that?
I could see the Broncos, if they lose this weekend, they're going to start selling a bunch. They're going to sell 2 or 3 players, I think.
But what do you think about the idea that the Packers move in on that? The Packers just strike me as one of those old school teams like the Steelers.
I do believe that the Packers are going to make some kind of move to get Rodgers' help. I don't know if it's going to be that, but I do think they're going to get some kind of deal done to get a pass catcher.
That's fair. That's fair. Another one I see here has another guy I mentioned earlier, Isaiah Wynn from the Patriots, going to the Rams for a 2nd round pick next draft. Definitely something I could see happening. I think that is, if all their proposed scenarios here, I think that is definitely one that could happen. The Rams are desperate for offensive line help. I would not be surprised in the slightest if they're ranked 32nd on the offensive line play. It's
I see the Rams calling the Eagles up for Dillard because they need to tackle.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Eagles want to move Dillard though, because I don't know if you want to move depth like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't see the Eagles honestly doing anything else now that they made their kind of big splash for Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to search around the league. What's your opinion on DJ Moore and some of those Carolina guys? My opinion personally is I think Carolina's done. The rumor is that they've got offers for Brian Burns, which they were asking a 1st round pick. So there's one of two things. Basically, either they don't want to move anymore, they think they're fine with what they have, they think they have a good platform to rebuild on, or secondly, they didn't get offered what they felt he was worth. Personally, I don't see them making any more moves. I think they're done, but that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, I can see that too. I can see them just staying put now that they did that.
Another one I see, courtesy of CBS NFL, has them trying to dish Shaq Thompson's contract off the books. That's something I could see, maybe for a little cheaper than a Brian Burns or DJ Moore. Another one that catches the eye here has Buffalo Bills trading for basically nothing for Antonio Gibson, the Carolina Washington Commanders. I don't even know what position he is on the depth chart anymore. Brian Robinson Jr. is their starting running back, it sounds like, from here on out. So they could probably the Buffalo Bills could probably get Gibson for basically nothing if I had to guess.
Yeah, I could probably see that. He doesn't have a lot of years left. I think he has maybe one more year left on his deal anyway, too. So they could probably send like a 6th-round pick and get him.
What about the Chicago Bears? You have any? You think what any ideas here? They could be buyers at the wide receiver market, or they could be possibly sellers on their defensive side of the ball with guys like Roquan Smith or Eddie Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I think, actually. I think they'll be buyers specifically trying to get assets to help Justin Fields progress, but then they're going to be sellers and selling that defense to try and accumulate draft picks to fit their timeline. You know what I mean?
Yep, yeah, I hear you. What about Kareem Hunt? We heard rumors in the preseason that he's asked for a trade. Obviously, he's having another decent season. It's probably getting overshadowed by how good of a season Nick Chubb's having, and also by the fact that the Browns kind of just stink right now.
Yeah.
You see him going anywhere?
Yeah. If someone's willing to pay the 4th-round pick, I think maybe it comes down to it. Someone can get him for a 5th just because of the fact that he is 27, maybe 28-year-old running back. Yeah.
Here's an interesting one too. This one had the Cowboys need. Obviously, they made their trade at defensive tackle, but this had them landing Matthew Ioannidis. Ioannidis, did I say that right?
Ioannidis, I think.
Ioannidis, that's it. From Carolina, and I bet like he would go for basically nothing. I doubt the Cowboys do anything like that now, but there are teams that definitely need help at the D tackle position, run stop.
Yeah, I could see Carolina making that move, but I don't think Dallas is gonna.
Here's an interesting one, kind of tidbits from what we talked about earlier. This one, CBS Sports has the Green Bay Packers landing Brandon Cooks. I can see that a little bit because he's a little bit more of an established name. I just don't see the Packers with their historical significance. I don't see them landing a wide receiver that doesn't, come in and make an impact immediately.
Yeah.
I think Cooks can do that though, especially with Rodgers. So that's
something.
A lot
of the deep balls Rodgers has been throwing this year just haven't been getting caught, and Cooks is deep threat. So I think that would make a lot of sense for him.
Yeah. This one I also see, which happened today. Actually, the Houston Texans released Camu Grugier-Hill, linebacker. This has them selling him, trying to get something for him. But apparently he asked for his release earlier this week, and he was granted it today. So he could be landing somewhere that possibly needs linebacker help. Another outside guy. This has the Indianapolis Colts trying to dish Yannick Ngakwe his contract.
Yeah. I can see them being sellers too. I didn't even mention them yet.
I mean, their defense is playing well, though. That's the credit to them. Their offense just stinks.
Yeah.
This is another couple of tidbits here. This has the Kansas City Chiefs trying to acquire Cam Jordan from the Saints. Another team that I could see as sellers here, the Saints.
Yeah, I could see that too.
I do not. You know what would be an interesting one? People are going to hate me for this, but I could see the Chiefs trading with New Orleans, but not Cam Jordan. I could see Taysom Hill landing in Kansas City and doing well in that offense because Andy Reid is crazy and that offensive coaching staff is nuts. They figure out new creative offense every week, it feels like, and Taysom Hill has new creative offense written all over him.
Yep.
I'm just throwing that out there. I don't think it's going to happen, but who knows? I definitely don't think they're landing Cam Jordan, but another one down in that division, the NFC, what's that? The NFC South. Jacksonville. Oh, they're in the AFC. The Jacksonville Jaguars trying to get Marvin Jones' contract off the books. Obviously, they signed Christian Kirk in the offseason to a very large contract. So that's something I could kind of see trying to happen. I don't know who exactly would be in on him, but
I can see the Jaguars selling a bunch of their veterans, trying to gear up for a run next year.
Yeah, I could definitely see something like that. Another one I could see is the Chargers trading for quarterback Sidney Jones. I being an Eagles fan, I've read rumors that the Eagles have snooped around the possibility of bringing back Sidney Jones. Ultimately, they don't like what Seattle's charging in a price. The Chargers obviously just lost J.C. Jackson, who they paid a lot of money for. Could be something here. Anything on that?
I could see the Chargers making a move for a cornerback, especially since that happened. see, I don't know if Seattle's going to want to do that and sell, considering the season they're having right now too.
I figured
But-
something out. I figured out this just figured it out for me. The wide receiver I was talking about going to Chicago from New England was Kendrick Bourne.
Oh, okay. Kendrick Bourne.
That CBS Sports has it on here as the Patriots trying to sell him at the deadline.
Maybe
That
that's
is
who I
the
was
rumor I've heard.
thinking about.
What's
Maybe
that?
that's who I was thinking about. Maybe that's
Yeah.
who I was looking at. Yeah, but Kendrick Bourne, yeah.
Another New Orleans one here is the Saints trying to get whatever they can for Jarvis Landry because it sounds like he's not resigning next year. Obviously,
Yeah.
they signed him for a good chunk of money, just the 1 year. Something I could see happening, a team that just needs a wide receiver help, and maybe he's looking for another team, this offseason.
Yeah.
Back to the Giants here, and another guy we've talked about, Jerry Jeudy. I do not see this happening because they are still in cap hell. And there's no way they could have that kind of, first round pick contract at wide receiver on top of what they already have
Not until
between the guys they have there and Galladay and all that. This has the Jets trying to sell Denzel Mims. I think the more realistic thing that may happen here is Elijah Moore gets traded because he's already requested his trade after seemingly getting benched. Any opinion on that?
See, I think one of them gets traded. One of them's going to stay. One of them's going to get traded. But they actually both did request trade before. Denzel Mims requested his a little bit earlier in the offseason.
Now, this article that I'm reading from was probably obviously written, before the Eagles trade happened today. This is the Eagles trying to acquire Chuck Clark from the Ravens at the deadline. I don't think it would happen by any means a stretch, because of the Gardner Johnson trade, and Marcus Epps is playing well right now at safety. So I don't think they're looking. I don't think Chuck Clark is a guy that I think his price tag is a little too high just for depth.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
And beside the fact, I think the Ravens are trying to add pieces on defense and at receiver, instead of acquiring draft picks, and I don't think that fits there. I see here, this has the Steelers trying to sell Mason Rudolph. I don't even know who would be in on that. Like, who needs a quarterback right now? I mean, you could probably say Carolina, but I mean, like they can't afford another quarterback on the roster. That's the thing.
Yeah, and what's the point of them getting rid of another asset just for another quarterback of that caliber? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense here. But something that I talked about to you before we got on recording here. This has the Seattle Seahawks trying to acquire Roquan Smith if they are serious about a playoff run. This is something I kind of touched on earlier. I've read this online before other places. Something that I could definitely see happening, but I would be reluctant, to ultimately see the trade go down.
Yeah. I mean, if they are serious, though, I could see that, out with Bobby Wagner in the offseason, in with try and get a new guy to man down your defense for the next how many years.
Mm-hmm. We'll wrap it up on this one. This is an interesting one. I definitely don't see happening, but this has Mike Gesicki on the Dolphins relocating in Florida to the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think the Bucks have bigger issues than tight end with their offensive line and secondary play, but that would be an interesting thing to see Tom Brady work that offense with Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I just don't think they're getting rid of him, especially with Tua coming back. They ain't going to try and get rid of his weapons. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You have any last minute, things to throw out here at the deadline? NFL predictions?
I think we kind of.
Any Cowboys predictions here at the deadline?
I kind of just want a receiver, man.
Yeah.
I think they need another one. I really do. Someone who could stretch the field a little bit more, because I think Gallup's still going to, people, a lot of Cowboys need to try and say he's back, but I think he's going to take another 2-3 games maybe till he's actually feeling 100% confident with taking hits, making all his cuts and all that. But because I haven't seen the signature, Dak down the sideline, Gallup makes some kind of crazy catch. I haven't seen even a deep ball thrown to him, I don't think, in the last how many games.
That's fair. And that's where we'll wrap it up here. As always, I thank you and Richie and Smitty for joining me. This was episode 15 of Pick Fiends, and hopefully you join us for the next one.